Cross-country mountain biking is evolving. The elite level of racing has become shorter and more intense and more technically challenging. Plus, the next generation of riders are really pushing the limits and changing the face of cross-country. Technical descents, rock gardens and jumps are all a part of modern cross-country. It's no longer just a test of human fitness and endurance. You need the whole package these days to race cross-country at the highest level, and that has been influencing the design of the bikes. They need to be able to do so much, but most of all be really fast, and they've had to keep pace with what the riders have been asking of them. Orbea say this brand new Oiz is built to fly. Well, are these the most capable cross-country bikes ever? I think so. That modern sort of cross-country racer's demand for grip and control makes a bike that for most of us everyday riders, a really nice thing to live with on the day-to-day. Gone are the days of super stiff, unforgiving cross-country bikes with long stems and narrow bars as well that aren't really very nice to live with most of the time. And this is the sort of bike that makes me want to get the map out, plan an epic route, stick 2 water bottles on it and literally go for an all-day ride that is riding cross-country. But they're super versatile. On the other side of the coin, if you do want to race XCO, you've got a really fast bike for that. If you're doing short, hard rides, you've got the best of both worlds really. But I don't think I'll be sticking the Leica on and doing any XCO rides or races anytime soon. But that's fine. I'll happily go for some big epics. Orbea is a competitive company. By that, I mean they take their pro bike racing seriously. I've been lucky enough to visit their factory in Mallorca in the Basque Country, northern Spain, and see the efforts they go to when developing new bikes. And you might have seen the splash they made this year on the downhill racing circuit with their pro Martin Mays riding a modified wild e-bike in the World Cup downhill. They use this OLAB project to experiment and try new things with bike design, but they also work with some of the world's best teams and athletes to prove their bikes at World Cup Enduro and cross country. You don't have to be a racing fan to benefit from this driving technology. And I think that's one of the coolest things about mountain bikes is that you can actually buy the same bikes that are being ridden by the world's best riders. My Orbea Oiz here is exactly the same as the bike ridden to under 23 World Championship glory by Luca Martin. So I may not be anywhere near as fast, but I get to ride and own a bike with some pretty serious credentials. And yes, it's a race-winning machine, but that doesn't mean you have to race to feel the benefits. The geometry has been something evolving to keep up. 120mm of travel front and rear, it's the new norm for cross-country, hardtail's becoming a rarity. 67-degree head angle with a reach of 450mm for a medium. Reaches have been getting longer and shorter stems as well, 60 to 90mm on this bike. Mine is a 75mm stem paired with 760mm wide bars. That gives you the control for descending, but with a 76.5 seat angle and low stack, that puts you up front and weight on the front wheel for climbing. It also has a 100mm drop seat post, which is almost essential for modern cross-country bikes. Grip and control have become as important as efficiency, and the frame build is an important piece to this puzzle. So this is the OMX Carbon. It's their top of the range carbon build, where the stiffness and flexibility is tuned into it. Orbea call this part of the bike the power spine, so the lower part of the bike is beefed up because that's where the pedaling forces are transmitted, and then weight is saved elsewhere, as you can see in these razor thin parts of the top tube. There's a carbon shock link, and a fresh design of this pivotless rear triangle has been made to save weight, but also the shape and size of this seat stay has changed, so the area has increased to increase the stiffness, and also larger bearing sizes to help there too. 120mm of travel front and rear is almost creeping up to trail bike numbers, but with cross-country geometry and the superlight build of under 10 kilograms with pedals, this bike does still fly, as Orbea say. An important part of making a full suspension cross-country bike even faster and more efficient is a good lockout system. And Orbea use this squid lock up on the bar, and that runs their patented eye-line shock. And the cable actually runs within the top tube. It's super neat, goes straight into that shock. That works in unison with the fork, so riders can really firm up their bike when they want maximum power. Tucked underneath that squid lock lever as well is that dropper post, meaning that when things get a bit rowdier down the hill, you can open the suspension, get that seat post down and get bombing. It's interesting how the suspension is designed on this bike. So it's got a regressive curve and high anti-squat. Means at the start of the travel it feels like really a bit firm and responsive to the pedals. But as the hits come, the bike loosens up. And as you go into the mid-travel, the bike becomes way more plush. So it's all about speed and efficiency. So you get the really fast pedaling bike, but when you need the hits and the compliancy, it's there. Plus, of course, you can hit that squid lock lever for winching yourself up the fire road climbs. These modern cross-country bikes have become so versatile that, yes, I do think they are the most capable bikes ever. Never has a bike been so willing to go on massive epic rides because it's so light, efficient. But that grip and control does mean comfort for us as well. So I personally don't know why anyone nowadays would choose a super light, hardtail cross-country bike when you can have it all with a bike like this. Orbea say, simply put, the new Oiz is the fastest cross-country bike that's left their factory in over 180 years. But I think it's so much more than that.